Whether you grew up in the 90s and 2000s or are growing up now, you likely know of a block called Toonami that airs on Saturdays on Adult Swim. Toonami is a block that airs dubbed animes and airs at about midnight depending on your time zone and which broadcast of the channel you're tuned into. In the beginning, Toonami wasn't broadcasted on Adult Swim and was actually broadcasted on weekday afternoons on Cartoon Network itself. But on April 17, 2004, the decision was made to move the block to Saturdays due to the mature nature of the shows and having more of a tween to teenager audience, rather than the kid demographic that typically watched Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network then had to find something to fill that weekday afternoon gap that Toonami previously filled, so they created a block similar to Toonami without the mature content. That block was called Miguzi, a block created by William Street, who also produced Toonami. Miguzi was similar to Toonami in that it aired mostly anime-inspired shows, but was, in a lot of ways, different. The majority of Miguzi's content was Western shows, such as Teen Titans and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and had only a few actual anime in their rotations. Miguzi was hosted by an animated girl named Erin, and aquatic alien-like creatures that lived in a spaceship underwater, often appearing between commercial breaks during the block, as well as advertisements for the block. The block was not very well received, even at the time being called the death of Cartoon Network, and after low ratings and a rebrand in 2006, eventually ended in 2007, with Toonami following its fate just a year later. Today, this block is very forgotten, and while it hasn't become lost, it is rarely ever talked about, and most people don't even know the block existed. So, why was this block so hated? And why has it become forgotten? To answer that, we first have to discuss the popular opinion, at least at the time, that 2004 was the death of Cartoon Network. Not only did Cartoon Network move Toonami's airtime from Monday to Friday to just Saturday, but they began to cancel fan-favorite shows, such as Johnny Bravo and Samurai Jack, and in the next few years started to air shows that were not very well received, such as Johnny Test. Since the premiere of Miguzi, fans believed Cartoon Network was on a downward spiral, and the channel wouldn't really recover until around the early 2010s, when shows such as Adventure Time and regular shows started to air. Since this downward spiral had begun with Miguzi's launch in 2004, many people associated it with the death of Cartoon Network, and it replacing Toonami added salt onto the wound. This disdain would lead to lower ratings for Cartoon Network, leading Cartoon Network to cut a lot of programming in 2007 and 2008, Miguzi and Toonami being some of the program they cut. Eventually, Toonami came back about 4 years later, but Miguzi wasn't so lucky. Miguzi left such a sour taste in viewers' mouths that it eventually became forgotten, and today, not many people talk about it. While the block did have a lot of popular programming, many viewers were angry about Toonami's removal from weekdays and a lot of popular shows being cancelled, and took that anger out on Miguzi. Personally, I don't believe that 2004 was the death of Cartoon Network, and in the future I plan on making a video on what I believe was the death of Cartoon Network. But many people at the time did believe Cartoon Network died in 2004, and it translated into lower ratings and an entire block being forgotten. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to see my future content, subscribe and like this video. Thank you for watching.